Listen to this podcast now on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Why is the middle class shrinking? Why are people facing an affordability crisis while marginalized individuals called informals grow in numbers? Join me as I travel the world, speaking with people living in invisibility, the leaders working to solve it, and uncovering the hard truths shaping our economy and daily reality.
Download all of Red Apple Media's podcasts right now through your favorite podcast platform. The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
This really blew away expectations. The U.S. economy adding, as you mentioned, 172,000 jobs in May. The forecast was for 105. There were whispers for half that. So that is a significant beat, and there were positive revisions.
I was going to ask, tell me about the revisions. That's now become my new favorite thing.
Yeah, well, we've become so accustomed to negative revisions, and now we've got the opposite, right? There was a modest increase for March to a very healthy 214,000, but April was revised sharply higher to 179,000.
With the jobs numbers right now. Wow. 172,000 non-farm payrolls were added to the economy in May. The estimate was 85,000, guys. There you go. 4.3% is the unemployment rate. Private sector jobs coming in better than expected, 120,000. We were looking for 85,000. Labor force participation rate, 61.8%, and you're seeing May average work week unchanged, 34.3 hours, and that is on track. Now, April has been revised to 179,000. The original April read, Maria, was 115. They just revised April to 179K, and they're also revising March to 214,000 jobs.
It's a lot of jobs. That's the point. It's a lot of jobs being created. A lot of jobs out there being created. Welcome, my friends, to the Here We Are. It's a Friday again. Can't believe it happened so soon edition of Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour. We might as well call today's installment the Graham Plantner Review, because almost all of the sound bites, I'm getting tired of this guy. With the Nazi, I didn't know it was a Nazi tattoo. I never knew it was a Nazi tattoo. Not just a Nazi tattoo, the SS Nazis that worked it was the tattoo used by Nazis who worked in the concentration camps. Oh, I didn't know it was a Nazi tattoo. Yeah. A guy so smart that he wants to be a senator but didn't know what his own tattoo meant. You buying that? Really? So many after the latest drop. And what's interesting about the latest drop of information on this is that the young lady that's at the center of all of this is also ticked off with the New York Times, because she issued a very, very lengthy piece on X that just goes through the entire process of how the New York Times got her to talk to them, what they left out of her story, what they didn't intentionally put in, such as some corroboration for some of the things that she was saying. And she's on record now saying she thinks it's a setup. The way that what they left out is actually a gift to Mr. Plantner. And that may be because they didn't want to make it as bad as they could have. Now, I heard today that there's more. That there is more on the... This is turning out to be a wealth of entertainment for people that are entertained by the horrifics of what this guy is, apparently, or was with women. But there's some other news. Also, Delaney Hall. You know, these liberals are still out there acting foolish every night. And now Ras Baraka from Planet Newark is saying pretty much, yeah, we're not gonna do too much about it. Ras Baraka, Mayor Ras Baraka, and so they're still out there carrying on at night, trying to, do what they do, riot and disobey the law. Just endless riots in Newark. I mean, look, Newark was the capital of car theft in America for many years. In fact, the Fugees, you know the Fugees one that they talk about Newark? Their version of No Woman, No Cry. Do we have that in the live? We do have the Fugees, I think, No Woman, No Cry. And they talk about that. They talk about Newark, I think, in the second verse of the song. You know? But, so now, Ras Baraka from Planet Newark. I know we have the Fugees, No Woman, No Cry. We have it somewhere because we've played it. Carlos tells me no a lot when I ask for stuff. He says, like, no, we don't have it. And then later on, he says, oh, you know what? I did. Anyway, Tom Homan was on Cut 1. Carlos, I know we have that, I hope. Tom Homan was on with Laura Ingraham last night, and he discussed what's happening still at Delaney Hall, the riots that Democrats and their political apologists are still supporting out at Delaney Hall.
Newark's mayor, Tom, just released a statement saying that the city is scaling back its police presence, so it's kind of late to the game anyway, but at Delaney Hall, saying essentially there's a significant reduction in the unrest. The city's scaling back the presence, and they're going to focus on traffic management, public safety, etc. Well, what does that tell the domestic terrorists that were there? Time to move on to something else or to come back?
Come back. And they're going to regret that decision. Look, when I got up there, they weren't responding to 911 calls. ICE officers being assaulted in the streets. They called. They're overwhelmed. Police didn't respond. State troopers didn't respond. I got up. The first thing I did, I met with the state police. I met with the mayor of that city. I met with the police department. I've had several conversations with the governor. I did the same thing I did in Minneapolis. You got to do your public safety job. And if you don't, President Trump has no problem deploying the National Guard up here. But you got to do your job. We'll protect the facility. That's our job. And what we did. We armored up that facility. We put more wire in. We put embassy fencing. We put Jersey barriers. We put more lighting and more drones, more cameras, so we can take facial recognition too. So while they're out there being the jerks they are, we're gathering all this intelligence and furthering the criminal investigation. That's going to hold a lot of people accountable. So I wish the mayor wouldn't back up. We worked very hard to get this agreement. If she backs off, then President Trump will step in. President Trump's not going to take this garbage. I mean, he's going to make sure that ICE enforces laws. We have the right to detain people. And everybody in that facility, Laura, I went through the files, everybody in that facility is being legally detained. And not only that, a large portion of them are mandatorily detained by federal statute. We couldn't release them if we wanted to. We don't want them. We're not going to. But we couldn't even release them if we wanted to. These people, the government needs to study the immigration law and find out we're doing exactly what Congress intended us to do.
Wow. I hope that this happens. And he's talking about Mickey Sherrill. By the way, if you live in Virginia, is it New Jersey or Virginia? I have to find the story. I think it's New Jersey, actually. They just increased the amount of millions that they're going to spend for illegal immigrant defense. So the taxpayers of New Jersey, in addition to putting up with the riots from all these people and from these liberal Democrats, here's the story right here. Found it. New Jersey taxpayers hit with another $12 million bill. It's a deportation defense fund. So now that Mickey Sherrill, or Mikey Sherrill, whatever her name is, out there, governor, has announced that New Jersey taxpayers, you're already in one of the in one of the highest tax states in the entire world. Well, the country. And now you have to fork over more money if you live in New Jersey so that you can proudly say that you're paying for taxpayer defense of illegal immigrants to stay and suck off the taxpayers. Oh, Debbie, thank you. It's Mikey. Thank you, Debbie. She corrects me all the time. I'm serious, and I'm not trying to make fun of the lady. I never remember to get her name straight because it looks like Mickey to me. And her last name looks like Cheryl, like the Shirelles. Like, the Shirelles, the singing group, the Shirelles. So I always think it's Mickey Sherrill. But it's Mikey Sherrill, so I end up calling her both so I don't mess it up, and at least one of them is right. And you still didn't find the Fugees. I got a text in the middle of it from a good friend of mine in Ohio, and she says to me on the text, Bob Marley did No Woman, No Cry. Like, damn, I didn't know. Like, I've only been listening to the Marley since I was a young buck. Since it came out. I've been listening to, I started listening to Marley when I was a teenager. When the Natty Dread album came out. Woof. I was like, no kidding. He did? Yeah, but the Fugees did a reboot on it. And we used to have it in the library. And they're from Newark. And so I know what I'm talking about because we've played it. But Carlos is telling me we don't have it, so we're not going to play the Fugees here. We'll play something else. James Golden, Snerdley, fastest hour in American media. Keep it right here. Do not go away.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, it has begun, as many of us expected for it to happen. Here's the headline from Fox News story. Spencer Pratt, Steve Hilton lose ground to Democrats in latest California ballot batch drop. Former reality star Spencer Pratt's lead over Councilwoman Nithya Raman in the Los Angeles mayoral race narrowed Thursday. That was yesterday, while Republican gubernatorial candidate Steve Hilton slid behind Democrat Tom Steyer. So, even though some people are still reporting that Hilton still is, leader. Nope. Right now, the Democrats have set up for the Democrats to win, no matter what. If you believe this stuff, and if it holds in the next gubernatorial race out there. Now, we know Bill Ellerslie is the Attorney General out there. Did a walkthrough of one of the ballot centers today. I saw that. And Democrats are all ticked off because Donald Trump made remarks on it. In fact, Carlos, let's listen to Dana Bash on CNN with their report of what's happening with the slow ballot count in California. Here we go.
Election day was Tuesday, and still only 56% of the votes in the governor's primary have been processed. Right now, Republican Steve Hilton and Democrats Javier Becerra, Tom Steyer are battling for the top two spots in advance of the general election. Now, if this count looks familiar to you, it's because it's nearly identical to the one we showed you at this time yesterday. For California voters or political junkies like us, it's frustrating, but I just want to be clear. It is not unusual for California.
Jeff Greenfield, we are making calls on the California races. Going to the boards now. CNN is declaring that when all is said and done, Barbara Boxer
on election
will have saved her seat in the United States Senate as a Democrat from California.
In the California governor's race, Gray Davis, this is a pickup for the Democrats, a big win, the biggest state in the country.
Is not a sign of fraud. President Trump is using the slow pace to sow misinformation about election integrity, writing today, quote, there's big cheating by Democrats in California under investigation by the U.S. Attorney's Office in Los Angeles. Why the vote counting delay? A panel is back here. Patrick, as we discuss this and just kind of put a finer point on it, not to say that it's not, as I said, frustrating and sort of inconceivable that it takes so long. It is not new. If you look at past elections, going back to 2010, Kamala Harris won after 22 days. 2018, 30 days for key House race with Valadao to call.
Okay, and it goes on. Democrats make excuses. Like California has never announced on election night, and they used to. And everything that has been put in place in California is to allow this entire state to slow it down. And this is not what the American people deserve for Election Day. It is a disgrace. Now, do I think, here's what I think, I don't even want to say what I think is going to happen because I don't want to be a negative naysayer at this point. But I think many of us understand what California is going to do. As Gavin Newsom said, Gavin Newsom pretty much said, we had ways to put out this fire. We had ways. I mean, I'll have to find that quote because it's not an exact quote. But he intimated that there were ways to take care of the upstarts out there, and I need to find the exact quote from Gavin Newsom. California's election system is a disgrace, and it is not a disgrace by accident. It is a disgrace on purpose. And many of us believe that this entire mail-in system is designed for one thing and one thing only, so that California Democrats can choose who is elected and how they're elected and when they're elected. Yes, I know, Graham Plattner. I keep putting it off. And I'm going to put it off just a little bit more when we get back, too, because I want to do a quick interview.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative. On the Red Apple Podcast Network. The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative. On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Do you think Democrats will hold you accountable for standing by this principle of neutrality by withholding your endorsement in this not-impossible scenario where two Republicans take the ticket?
Yeah, look, my focus has been making sure that doesn't happen, and I've exercised not just a focus, but I've exercised through some action efforts to encourage that doesn't happen by making my case, and will continue to make my case. I do not see that scenario taking place. I've said this before, so I'll repeat it. I don't anticipate this need to be the case, but there is a break the glass scenario, and there's many people that have a deep understanding of what it would look like if Democrats were locked out, and we're going to do everything to make sure that doesn't happen. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, we have a break the glass scenario. We'll make sure Democrats get elected. That's Gavin Newsom. Right now on the phone with us is my dear, dear friend, Patrick Burns, conductor, maestro. Patrick Burns. Patrick, I figured it out. You started conducting when you were 10 years old.
Not quite.
Because, it has to be. Because your 40th anniversary as a conductor concert is coming up tomorrow, and you have to have started when you were 10.
I started when I was 17. I started practicing probably when I was 3. But I think I told you, and by the way, to all your listeners, I used to talk to James off the radio more than on the radio, but now more on the radio than not. But I got my start with, listening to all those artists that we talk about all the time, all the Motown artists, Berry Gordy artists. And so it was later on that I got into classical music. But yes, 40 years with the Bloomfield Youth Band. Yep.
This is incredible. So tell us where, now for those of you in the New Jersey area, we're in many states across the country, but if you happen to be in many states and you want to come to New Jersey, maybe you'll take a tour around Delaney Hall and then go to, or do that after the concert. Where is your 40th anniversary concert being held?
Yep, this is the Bloomfield Youth Band at Bloomfield Middle School, which is located at 60 Huck Road in Bloomfield. And it's tomorrow night, June 6th at 7:30, and it's $15 at the door. And you'll like it so much that you'll give us more money during the concert when we ask you for it.
Love it. This is the youth band that is, it's what can people expect? Patrick?
It's a group that has remained about the same in its composition, which is mostly high school students and some college students that are playing advanced level concert band literature very, very well. So it's okay.
Whoa! What is concert band literature?
Okay, so imagine an orchestra, but without the strings, and then so it's all woodwinds and brass and percussion.
So this sounds like it is going to be some exciting. How many players do you have?
We're about 60, 62, something like that. So it's a good sized group, and you're going to hear a lot of talent on stage. Bloomfield has always been fertile ground for arts of all kinds, but particularly music. So this is it's great to be part of the tradition here in my hometown for so long. Lovely thing, really.
Well, my dear friend, congratulations, 40th anniversary.
Yep.
Conducting. This is just what a milestone, Patrick.
Well, thank you, and I really appreciate you. You know that I love you very much, and I appreciate your time on the radio as always. And I look forward to catching up with you. And Jessica says that she loves you too, and gives her regards to you.
Well, thank you, and you tell Jessica I love her as well. And I want to. The book. And for you.
Yep, I'm glad you said it.
Yep, the book. His wife, Jessica, is working on, and this book is going to be monumentally groundbreaking in its scope and depth. What a talented couple they are. I'm telling you, it's just amazing, and I love them both so much. Patrick, congratulations, and yes, we will figure out a way to talk soon. I wish I could be at the concert tomorrow night, can't, but have a wonderful time, and let me know how it went, okay? Let us know.
Thank you so much, man, and thank you to all your listeners, and love you, brother. All right.
Love you, too. Take care. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard Gavin Newsom. Democrats are not giving this up. Now, all these reporters can get mad at President Trump all they want to. Why in the world do third world countries, including Somalia, run elections in a cleaner fashion than California? Why? You know, in Somalia, they're using biometric ID to secure the vote. Did you know that? In Somalia, they use biometric ID to secure the vote when they vote on stuff. Here, California acts like, look at what we're told. We're told in the highest of the highest tech ages, we're relying on the Pony Express, pretty much, on technology, mail-in, that was invented 3 centuries, has been in use for 3 centuries in the United States. This is California. It is a disgrace what happens there election after election, and Democrats and their media allies defend it. As they're defending this guy, this is Senator Chris Coons of Delaware. I wonder if anyone, never mind, I can't ask that question. If he gets mad when people, never mind. Chris Coons, cut 6, this is when he was on CNN, asked about the Senate candidate up in Maine, Graham Plattner.
And, frankly, Mr. Plattner is a 4-tour combat veteran and someone whose conduct as he came home from war, many have questioned. I don't know him and don't know him at all well, but I'm going to give him a measure of grace and wait until I get a chance to hear more about the details of all these different allegations. In my view, the folks who we have here in the Senate and who we might have here in the Senate, we should hold a high standards.
I'm going to give him a measure of grace until I hear and learn more. Oh, you need a measure of grace to learn more about the Nazi concentration camp guard tattoo that he sported for many years. I see. You need more grace to figure out what that was about. Now we have reports of him being physical and abusive toward women, multiple women, in many ways. Oh, no. I'm going to give him some grace. You see, he needs some grace while I try to figure out what's happening here. We just have to give him some grace. Okay? Keith Boykin was on CNN, a Democrat strategist, cut 7. Let's just go down the line. Here's old Keith.
How is this not disqualifying for him, given the standard that Democrats have established for believing women in situations like this?
You're asking me, huh? I might be the first person to answer this. Well, I don't know that it isn't. I think for people who've been saying the Democrats should be consistent and that they should believe women, it's hard to not look at this case and say, well, you have to apply a different standard to it. I think it's a very complicated problem for the Democratic Party because the Democratic Party set itself up to be the party that believes women.
Right.
And so when you have somebody who many people in the party have invested in, what do you do when there's an allegation that comes up? And so I think it's going to be a problem for the party trying to figure it out.
As a lawyer, how?
All right, just stop this right here for 1 second. Because the premise of this question, which just went by everybody, is entirely wrong. Well, what do we do here? Because, Democrats are the party that believes women my ass. No, they don't. You want to know about believing women? Ask Paula Jones about believing women. Back when it all came out with Bill Clinton, what did James Carville say about Paula Jones? He said, and I quote, all you got to do is wave a $100 bill around a trailer park. And this is the kind of stuff you get. That's old James Carville. And then came women like Juanita Broderick. And then came women like Kathleen Willey, who claimed and said that Bill Clinton raped them. Not just harassed them, but raped them. And the entire mainstream media, including the people at this network, have never taken the claims of those women seriously. And these weren't Republican women. These were women that either worked with Bill Clinton or were in his orbit as a Democrat. And to this day, they don't acknowledge their stories. And the stories were convincing, including after one of them said she sustained a small injury, what Bill Clinton told her after he got through, honey, baby, you need to put some ice on that. Yes, Carlos, all this stuff came out. And all these people at CNN, every single one of them, nobody took these women seriously at all the mainstream publications. They refused to because it wasn't part of their political DNA. Ask them why they are willing to believe certain women who come up with bogus stories. Time and time again. So this has never been about believing women. Because Democrats don't believe women when it is not in their political interest to believe those women. And it goes further than that. Look at old Hunter Biden and his baby mama. That girl couldn't get the time of day for years and years. Look at all they did. They had pictures of Hunter Biden with the hose. And they still wouldn't even pursue that one because they didn't want the truth that Hunter Biden was out here with hose doing what Hunter Biden did with the hose and with the blows. Yes, the hose and the blow. The blow and the hose. So come on with this business about Democrats believe the women. No, they don't. Democrats use women. Just like they use black people, just like they use Hispanics. They use anybody that can be used so the Democrats can gain power, and then when they don't use them anymore, they dispose of them. Or if they can't be used in the first place, they ignore them, or if they're raising too much of a problem, they discredit them, including Princess Di, you'll have to help me with the guy's name. Hillary Clinton had a staffer that she used all the time. And what they called, and I'm not making this up, And they were considering doing it with Monica Lewinsky. They would smear these women, and they had a name for it. They called it the nuts and sluts defense. They would demean these women and either claim that they were sluts or they were nuts. And this was part of their political strategy on how to destroy women that came up with stories that they didn't like. So this whole premise, Democrats are the party that believes women. My ass they are. They are not. They never have been, and they never will be. They are the party that uses women when they can be politically used, and when they can't be used, they are shunted to the side. Now, daggone it, I took all the time meant for sound bites with that. Because we have a lot more. James Golden.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for our clip of the day. None other than the House of Representatives Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, who is upset over the basketball game. Cut 4. This is our clip of the day. Hakeem Jeffries.
Game 2 of the NBA Finals tonight in San Antonio. Game 3 will be next week in New York City. President Trump says he plans to attend. What do you think the reception will be?
I'm not sure it's going to be a good reception for him, but why does Donald Trump always have to ruin a good thing? Like literally, the Knicks haven't been in the NBA Finals for 27 years. The city is trying to celebrate this. We've embraced this team, and this guy has to inject himself. I mean, come on, seriously, give us a break. Why doesn't this guy just focus on trying to improve the quality of life of the American people? Because the Trump economy has been a disaster.
Are you going when they're in New York?
No, next week we're in session. We'll be here in Washington, D.C., but I hope to gather with a group of friends and colleagues and, watch the Knicks be successful in both Game 3 and Game 4 in the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden.
Why does Donald Trump have to come and ruin everything by going to a Knicks game? He is only the president of the United States. Why does he have to inject himself and go to a... Well, number one, Hakeem, apparently, unlike you, he can afford to go and not sit in the nosebleeds. Carlos informs me, because we're keeping track of those things, ladies and gentlemen, that now to sit in the nosebleeds, the upper seats near the flags at the top of Madison Square Garden, cost $12,000 per ticket. Ah, yes, that voice. This is a Strood. I love. I think a Strood Gilberto is just a heavenly, sensuous, sexy voice. And this is Astrud. Brazilian samba and bossa nova singer Astrud Gilberto passed away at her home in Pennsylvania, aged 83 in 2023 on this day. So many versions of this song. Composers Antonio Carlos Jobim, one of the co-writers on this song, who I just adore his music. Just amazing. We got to go. May God bless, protect each and every single one of you, your families, your loved ones. God willing, we are back early in the morning, 7 a.m. Hope you will be here with us. Thank you for being with me and allowing me to be with you. Again, looking forward to seeing you in the morning. Until the meantime, I bid you adieu. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour. You can hear Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour weekdays at 4 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
Let me tell you about ProHealthConnect.com. It's transforming healthcare payments, providing retailers a seamless process for over-the-counter and healthy benefit programs. By connecting retailers, health plans, and payment processors, ProHealth Connect creates one powerful, unified network. They empower independent grocers and pharmacies to accept health benefit cards without changing how they do business. With over 10,000 locations nationwide, helping more than 1.3 million people access the care and nutrition they need. Go to ProHealthConnect.com.